Hello, welcome back to the Snake Pit. This is the second episode in the Stellaris Academy. So last time we explained getting started and the user interface. So when you first load in, you're going to be greeted with this and probably thinking, what the hell do I do first? Well, one of the first things I typically always do is pick my beginning researches. So you open your research screen here. And basically research is randomized in the sense that you never know typically what tech you're going to get, as in you'll always have three choices, but they're randomized. So what I typically do first is, if I get these, that increases your research from your individual researchers for this type. I always get these when they become available, because again, the more research you get, the quicker you can go. Whereas we didn't get that for society. So you see you've got here between food, planetary unification, or something to increase our defence armies. Now, out of all of these techs, we're fine for food at the moment. As you can see up here, we've got income of plus 28. So unification is what I'd go for, because unity will help us grow more at the current moment. Okay, so we'll research that. Now typically, when you're out here on the star map, you'll see that this system here, while we fully explored it, it has 2 energy credits, 3 minerals, and a research station that haven't been built yet. If you push the Alt key, it will tell you what we are collecting, which will turn up in green. Okay, so release the Alt key and it shows you what you're not collecting, which is how it's set up to show you by default. Now, if we select our construction ship, so the game's still paused, so it's not going to do anything for the moment. But before any upgrades or any research or anything like that, stations cost 100 research stations, and mineral stations and such cost 100 minerals to build. And as you can see, that will be our entire starting budget. So now, it said we had some engineering research. Here it is, it's on the moon. So, to build that, you can either be in the system view and right click directly on it and build it, or you can do it from the galaxy view by the same thing. As you select your construction ship, you right click the system and it will come up and it will tell you what you can build and its cost next to it. But bear in mind that from the galaxy view, you can't individualize the constructions. So it will always aim to build all the mining stations it can if you do it from the galaxy view. And as you can see, because we've got 2 spots open for minerals and energy credits, it's going to cost us 200, which we don't have. So we'll just build the research station for now. But still, everything's not moving because we're not quite done yet. So if we select our research ship, okay, from a, we'll just go to here for a second. From this system view, if there was stuff available for me to research specifically on a planet, then there would be a little orange box over the planet with a plus in it, and I could right click the planet and it would say research project, and I'd just click that and it'd do it. From the galaxy view, which is where you do all of your exploration, with your science ship selected, if you click this button here, the survey button, okay, so it's now highlighted, and you hold down shift and then left click systems like this, you'll see it will queue up orders. And then to get the game going, press space. Like that. There we go. So the game is now actually running. I highly advise you when you're first starting out to keep it on normal. The game's got 5 speeds in total. So you've got slowest, slow, normal, fast, and fastest. Fastest is essentially running it at the speed your computer can handle. So as the galaxy gets more discovered and there's more things happening, you tend to find that fastest doesn't necessarily behave as fast as it did in the early game. So, but there's nothing wrong with keeping it on normal and just going at your own pace. If you get too many things pop up in your face and you don't know what they mean, you can always press the space bar to pause it and just have a moment to breathe and to think, and press the space bar again and it will run it. So as you can see here, our construction ship is building the station here above the moon. And our science ship has moved to the first system we told it to, and it's starting to survey. Okay. So we'll just let it run for a bit.
Construction complete.
Okay, so this is a point to mention. We just completed that research station. So you see, it's no longer here. But if we're here, we're collecting all the research in this system. But because the date up here has not ticked over to the next month yet, it's not been added to our totals. So if we just let it run again, there you go, you can see that this went up. We've now got 26 engineering research up from 24. Okay, so if you build something mid-month, you will not see it get added to your plus totals until the month ticks over. Now this can work in your favour, because it's the same thing with research. So you see research does it by months. So if you have something that takes 1 month to research and you queue it like 1 day before the month ticks over, that will still count as 1 month and you can pretty much get like that thing, whatever it was, done instantly. But that doesn't happen that often. So we'll just continue here. So as you can see, we've got another 100 minerals in the bank. If we go here, we'll build the energy credits over Jupiter, so we'll build the next station here. Okay. So now we'll pause it again, and I'll just go over your planet interface, right? So you can either select a planet here in the system view, or click on it in the outline here. So we'll click on Earth. As you can see, prosperous unification. This is our origin bonus, or origin sort of story that we picked. As you can see, it lasts 7,000 days. So that gives us plus 15 happiness, plus 25 amenities, and plus 10% resources from jobs. This here is the governor. These are our districts. So you've got city, generator, agriculture, industrial, and mining districts. Okay. The city is pretty self-explanatory. It gives you housing, and it increases your building slots, which are over here. You can see these ones that are behind padlocks. If I built a housing district, then it would remove a padlock here and give us an extra building slot. Generator districts produce energy credits. Agriculture produces food. Industrial zones produce alloys and consumer goods, but they take minerals as an upkeep resource, and mining districts produce minerals for you. But you also notice that over these individual districts, they provide 2 jobs, but they also give you 2 housing. So they cover themselves as far as the housing need goes, so you don't need to worry about building city districts to support your basic districts. Okay. Your buildings on the right here are the building slots on the planet. Depending on the size of the planet, it will have more or less slots. That goes for the same as the districts. So a size 10 will have a lot less space than a size 18. And these buildings here are where you can specialise your planets if you want to. As you can see, you just click the slot and it will bring up this list here. You see it takes minerals, and this is how long it's going to take. So that'd be 328 days. Okay. And typically these buildings will have an upkeep of energy credits or minerals or something like that, unless it's specialised like a research lab, in which case, as you look at the tooltip there, it produces research, but its upkeep is consumer goods. Okay. Some things provide bonuses to your planet as a whole. So, like this here, this precinct houses, it gives us enforcer jobs, which produce unity, decrease crime, and spawn defense armies. Strongholds give you 2 soldier jobs, which increases your naval capacity and gives you defense armies as well. With your this section here, stability 79%. So this is the stability of the planet as a whole. And as you can see in the expanded tooltip that pops up, if you start running out of housing, you get low amenities or crime, then the stability will fall, and if it gets too low, then you do have a risk of the planet actually trying to revolt from your empire, in which case you will have to send military forces to subdue the revolt and bring it back into line. The number here is your population. When you hover over it, it shows you how many there are, so there's 32 Earthlings. If there was another species there hovering over this, it'd tell you its name and how many there are. Crime, it's currently 0%. The amount of housing left, 11. Amenities, which are basically, in a sense, luxuries that the population kind of has, and they'll get used up as your population increases. And if you have a high amount, then they give you a happiness bonus. So it's important not to run out of these, because if you run out of amenities, then it will start to affect you negatively and start increasing your crime. This is your available jobs here. So you see we've got 1, and in the pop down it will tell you what that is. So you see we've got 5 out of 6 clerks there, so that's a clerk job that's open. And this here is your unemployment level. So if someone didn't have a job, this would be 1, and it would tell you with a little symbol up here. Okay, so as you can see next to Earth here, it has this little house. Now that doesn't mean that it needs housing. This little house here means that it's got these slots open. There's some of these slots that haven't been built into. Okay. Regarding building anything, I would highly suggest you don't just spam build a load of things on a planet, because while that might sound handy, what it will actually do is just give you a load of open job spaces, and it will be a while before the population grows in order to fill those job roles, and things take upkeep and maintenance to run. So you'll just have empty factories and empty districts that are taking up resources from your economy but not giving you anything in return. So it's always best to build when you need it rather than just because you can. Okay, so every planet, once you've surveyed it, will have this button highlighted here, which is Planetary Features. Okay, this here tells you how many rarer ones there are, and this one here is how many tile blockers there are. Okay, so these are bad things, although sometimes they can be good and you can decide to leave them if you want. But if you click this button here, it brings them up. So it will be, this is completely random for each planet. So here you've got the Saharan Irrigation project, which gives us 4+ agriculture districts, things like that, and you can get special ones that can give you an increase in special resources and everything like that. As you can see here, sprawling slums, Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and Industrial Wasteland, and it tells you here what it's taking away from you. Okay. Sprawling slums, this little shovel icon here is how you remove it, and as you can see it has a cost of energy credits and time, but it does tell you there on clearing what it will give you. So if we clear this Pacific Garbage Patch, it will give us 3+ max agriculture districts, which should open up these 3 that are blocked here in grey. Okay. This Industrial Wasteland will give us +2 generator districts, so that would be 2 of these that open up that are blocked. And this here, if we clear the slums, that will give us just 1 flat population. So we want the population, so we'll start this one running, and we'll just continue with the game. So early game is definitely the most relaxed portion of the game, as you can imagine. There's not much going on, you're only focusing on your own growth and expansion. So it's a good time to really sort of prod around and get used to the menus and various things. So because we've got over 100 minerals up here now, we can finish the building in this system. So if you hold shift, as with the surveying with the science ship, if you hold shift you can queue up orders, right click, build the last mining station, and as you can see here that order's gone to +1. So it's building the station above Jupiter, and then its next order will be to build the final station in that system. Okay, so if we just pause it again and we'll go over the ship designer. I always like to do this at the start because the auto-generated designs don't tend to be what I actually want. So if you deselect here auto-generate designs, this will stop it making things for you so that you've got more control over your navy. I also like to turn off auto upgrade so that I upgrade it when I want, not when the game tells me to. Okay, so we've only got one interceptor design, corvette design, sorry, at the moment. If you click this button at the top, so this is the section, so as a corvette is small it only gets 1. So if we click this at the top, you can see you have a picket ship, interceptor or a missile boat, and it tells you the individual slots. So S is small, and that can go small, medium or large. G is a missile slot or a torpedo slot. A is a utility slot, and that can fit special things in it to enhance your ships. So I think we'll leave this as it is, and weapons wise we don't have much to choose from except mass drivers and lasers. But as you can see here, a mass driver, it gives you stats, so it does more damage to shields but less to armour, whereas a laser does less to shields but more to armour. Okay, so it's kind of a nice all-rounded thing it gives you. On the right here is individual components, so we've only got one type of reactor at the moment, one type of hyperdrive, one type of engine, one type of sensors, and then the basic control computer. This would be how you dictate how the ship behaves later on after research, whether it closes to engage or stays at a distance to try and fire. And then at the bottom here is the utility modifications, so this is shields and armour, and adding or removing these, as you can see, affects the numbers at the bottom. So if you put that armour back, it gives us 50 armour. Put the 2 shields back, 100 shields. And this utility slot here, if we put the reactor booster in it, it gives us a plus 20. And we'll just save that and overwrite it. Okay, so we've now got our own interceptor that we've made. Now if you wanted to do a completely new design, you click this button up here, new design, Corvette, and then it will give you something that's completely blank. Now I want to build something with point defense on it to help against missiles, so we'll pick this again, and as you can see it looks exactly the same, except it has different slots up here. So we'll actually give this a mass driver and a laser for its main weapons, but for the point defense we'll put this on it, and then we'll do the same with the shields and the armour, and we'll put the booster on it again, and we'll randomise the name. Just save that. Okay. Okay, it's an error there. It's actually it shouldn't have done that, but it's actually overwritten our original one, so I'll just quickly rebuild that, what it was. Okay, so there we go, we've got our two. Got our point defense and our basically full military. Now this is where the fleet manager will come in. Okay. So at the moment we have the strategic readiness fleet, which is these 3 corvettes. Now every fleet has a command limit, and those fleets fit into your naval capacity. So as you can see here, the command limit is 20, and each corvette takes 1. As you can see, if I increase this to 6, the command limit is now 6. And if we do add ship design to fleet, I'll put the other one in, and we'll do 6 as well. See, our command limit has gone up to 12 out of 20. When it reaches its cap, you can't add in any more ships. The game physically won't let you. Okay? So while the command limit that is there, 12 out of 20, tells you what it can be, and because this template is now saved, you can reinforce the fleet either through this button here, or by clicking on a button from the fleet itself. So I'll just show you that. So we open up the fleet, and here, reinforce fleet, and it will build it as you want. Now, because we had that thing where it overwrit our design, it actually gives me a chance to show you how to upgrade. So when you change a design, and it's of ships that you've already built, you'll get this upgrade fleet button come into colour here. So it tells you its cost, so it's going to cost us 34.5 minerals. So you click that, and it then gives you the upgrading percentage here, and it'll upgrade. We can actually reinforce the fleet as well. So if you do this here, once it's upgraded, it will start building the ship that we've reinforced it with.
Vessels upgraded.
So to further elaborate on the planetary view, as you can see, we cleared that slum and we've no longer got that job slot open. Let's go to our population here. This screen tells you the ethics of the various populations that live on your planet, their average happiness, what population is growing. If you were building robots, that would appear here. If you were purging a species or getting them to leave, that would appear here. And this pie chart is the full population. And here's a more sort of detailed breakdown of the various jobs and such. Okay. This next screen is your armies that are on the planet. As you can see, you can assign a leader to the garrison forces here. And we've got 2 armies. The devastation. This is a metric that will increase if, say, Earth was under orbital bombardment. This would increase. And devastation kills population, decreases production. Basically, it's bad. You don't want devastation. And this can increase through certain negative events that can randomly pop up. The corporate tab is if we were a mega corporation, say we come into contact with one, they can build a corporate office on Earth and build various upgrades and stuff that can both help and hinder us, but mainly help the species that's doing it. If we were a mega corporation and we met an alien empire, we could go to this corporate screen on one of their worlds and establish a branch office and do the same thing. But that's obviously not what we're going to go over because we're not a mega corporation, but that's just something to keep an eye on and not worry about if you suddenly see that this is full of things, because it just means that someone's built a branch office on your world.
Construction complete.
Okay. So through surveying, we've had this event pop up. So we've recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization. on, say, Terra 6. From what we've translated so far of their language, we have learned that these aliens call themselves the Erasian Concordant. They were an interstellar power that held sway over this region of the galaxy a little over 1 million years ago. They appear to have been six-limbed mammalians, and there are several references to some sort of plague called the Javorian Pox, which swept across their empire with devastating results, possibly leading to their extinction. Okay, so
Situation log updated.
as you can hear, situation log. It's got a little yellow sort of dimple thing up here. If you click this, you see we've now got the precursors in here. So you see we've got 0 out of 6 artifacts. As we continue to explore and complete scientific missions, we will discover more of these, which will lead to even more discoveries. Okay. So again, in Terra, during their surveying, they found rare crystals, which are a special resource, but we don't have the tech to harvest them yet. So as you can see on the galaxy map, we know they're there because you can see the number, but they're blacked out, which means that we can't harvest them.
Anomaly found.
Okay, so here's an anomaly. These are random events that will happen through surveying. It gives you the relative difficulty, which is based on the level of the scientist that's selected to do them, and how long it's going to take. So you can see here it will take 180 days to research this. If you had more than one science ship, you could change the scientist to another one and they'd go and do it, or you can just leave it alone and research it at a later time, or you can just research it now, which is what I'm going to do. So you'll now focus on that anomaly and just research that. It won't survey anything, it will just do this anomaly. However, as soon as this anomaly is researched, it will then go back to its previous orders that it was doing, so it will continue. So as you can see here, investigating this planet where this anomaly was, but it's still got its plus other orders. So as soon as this is done, it will go back to doing what it was before. So you don't need to worry about retasking something, science ship, to do more surveying. Just because he's doing an anomaly, it will automatically go back to it. Obviously, that did take 180 days, so you can leave it if you want for a more experienced scientist, or you can just do it like I did. I always tend to do it. It's completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do things one way or another. Okay, so we've got this little ding noise here. Traditions. So we've reached our Unity cap to get our first tradition. So if you click the pop-up, this is now where you can adopt your trees. Okay. So we go with expansion, domination, prosperity, harmony, discovery, diplomacy, or supremacy. So I think because we're small, we want to expand. So if we go with expansion, okay, adopt. As you can see, the bar reset, and we now need 352 Unity to get to the next tradition. Okay, and that will take us 22 months. So as you can see, each time you do it, this increases, but other things increase this as well. So it's not a linear increasing number. Population and everything like that factors into this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually speed it up. And this ship here, I'm actually going to move over here so it's ready. So to do that, you highlight it in the galaxy view, you right click the system and just do move here. What I've found is kind of best practice to do is to have a construction ship, when you're planning on expanding your territory anyway, is to have a construction ship following around a science ship, because then as soon as it's done surveying, you can then build an expansion station. Okay, so that anomaly was researched. It turned out to just be an alien mural. Slab of rock covering alien writing. They have not detected any other signs of alien activity on the planet. And exactly how this mural came to be here is a mystery. We have prepared a special project to translate the text.
Situation log updated.
Okay. So, a special project is something different from an anomaly in that you need to tell them to
Star system charted.
research it. Okay. So if we highlight our scientist, as you can see from this galaxy view, there's that orange box I mentioned with the exclamation mark in it. If we go to the actual view, you can see that even without the scientist selected, it's here. Okay. So if we want our scientist to research it, we'd select him and right click it. Now remember though, he's got all these survey orders here in front. We don't want to have to reset that. So if you do Shift plus Control and then right click and research, it will put that special project, move it up right to the front of his other orders, like he was researching that previous anomaly. When it's done, he'll just go straight back to whatever he was tasked to do before, which in our case was surveying. Now as he finished that, this system actually turned out to be fully surveyed. So to expand your territory, you do that through building stations, which you can only do in a fully surveyed system. So to do that, you can either do it from the galaxy menu or the system menu. It's exactly the same, but have your construction ship selected, right click the system and build starbase, which will be an outpost. And as you can see, it costs 100 alloys and 75 influence, which is what I mentioned about influence costing you to expand. So if you run out of influence, you can't expand. Okay, so we'll click that. Okay, pause again. As you can see here, we've had a population number grown. We've now got 34. And as you see, we've got housing's gone down to 9, and we've got an unemployed person. So this would be the time to build something. I think what I'm actually going to do, because I have the energy credits for it, is I'm going to clear both of these blockers first. Now, what would we like to put this person to work doing? We're okay on all of our incomes at the moment, but I'd really like more alloys, because alloys are perhaps one of the most important resources you can have. So I'll go here and I'll build an alloy foundry.
Construction complete.
Okay, so as you can see, that station's been built. So now we can select the construction ship, right click and build the only mining station we can build there until we get the technology to harvest rare crystals.
Special project complete.
Okay. Okay, so this was the project the science officer was working on, and it gives you some story and roleplay information. And then over the button it tells you the scientist himself gains 200 experience, and we've gained 323 engineering research, which will just get dumped straight into our current project.
Construction complete.
So this ship's now going to move here. There's nothing hostile there, so we can move the construction ship straight after it. And this is actually a trinary system, so it has 3 suns in it and lots to survey. Got our next tradition pop up. Do here, I think it'd be wise to have new colonies start with 1 additional population. So if you do that, do yes, see the numbers increased yet again. Okay, habitable world survey. So yes, just do this because we're going to be, it's just something that you can do passively because you're going to be surveying worlds anyway.
Anomaly found.
Oh, see, look, now this is a hard one and it's going to take well over 3 years. This might be one that you want to leave for more experienced scientists when they come along, but I'm honestly just going to research it because there's so few other alien empires in the galaxy with us. We're technically not really in a rush, so I'm actually just going to research it and let them get on with it. See here, the alloy foundry's been built. When this next month ticks over, which it has done yet, so someone's already started working there, and we've got 1 job available because the alloy foundry gives you 2 metallurgist jobs, but we're now making more alloys as a result. But we have
Technology secured.
less minerals because to make alloys you have an upkeep of minerals. Okay, so we've done our first research. So that anomaly we found, that mural that gave us some engineering research, means that we finished this before the others. So we do new research. See, we've got a choice here: army damage plus minerals from jobs. We can upgrade our weapons, or we can have a higher mining station output. So I'm actually going to do powered exoskeletons. It's a good early tech, and it will just give us more minerals. Okay, so a random event. People on Earth have seen a comet, and they think it's an ill omen, so it's given them minus 5% happiness. Nothing really major. Okay, so because I've just told him to research that really difficult anomaly, it might be an idea to build another science ship and another construction ship to accompany it. So to do that, you click your station, you go to the shipyard tab, then on the right here it tells you what you can build. So we want a science ship and a construction ship, and they're queued and they'll now be built. So you can see here we've now got the ship, but you can't do anything with the science ship until you assign a scientist to it. So an easy way to do that is to just highlight the ship. It says no assigned leader here. Click that and it will bring up the leader panel. And you go recruit. Now leaders cost energy credits to recruit, and these are their starting traits. So none of these are to particularly do with surveying, except this one here for the experience gain. So that's quite good. So you hire them, and then you click them where it says she's available. So you click, and then she gets put into the science ship. Now this one was going to, after they're surveying here, so we can send this ship to come and survey Barnard's Star. So we've now also got our new construction ship as well, and that can move there, as well as a new tradition. If we pick up the growth speed, more population means more production. Okay, so we've just grown another population here, but we now got someone unemployed again. So it might be an idea here to build a second research lab, because we really need to get that research going. And as you can see, the little house symbols disappeared because we've built it in this slot here.
Star system charted.
Yeah, that was a really easy system. So Barnard's Star. We'll expand here as well, and you can now come and survey here. Now as you can see, we've fully surveyed the system, so its name's gone white, and the two little circles here, icons, the planetary icons, okay? So because there's multiple, you click through them by just clicking on the icons. So we've got one which is a tomb world, which is 0% habitability because it basically got potentially nuked into being like this. Whereas we have one continental that's a size 12. It's got an alright mix of districts. If you look here, the Planetary Features is open, and as you can see, hot springs, rushing waterfalls, prosperous mesa, rugged woods, but it has these different blockers here. Okay. Now I wouldn't normally colonise a size 12 because it's not really worth it. I typically go for 14 or above just because of how small they tend to be. But because it's the start of the game, you kind of want all the territory you can have. Now one thing to note, we will be colonising this planet, but we will not be able to remove these blockers straight away. Because they've got a red border, that means that it's something we have to research. Okay, so we can do that now. You select the planet, you click, because it's within our territory, we can now colonise it. You can either do it through the expansion planner up here, like I showed you in the previous episode, or direct from the galaxy map. So we colonise it, and then what species you want. If we had multiple species, there'd be multiple options here. It tells you their habitability, so we're going to have 80% here because it's another continental world. And it tells you how much it's going to cost. So 200 food, 200 alloys, 200 consumer goods. So you just click this, and then you get to name the planet. So we'll just randomise through. Well, or you can name it yourself. So we've got Earth. How about we call this Eden Prime? Mass Effect reference, I know, but do that. And then the space station in Sol System will build a colony vessel, and it will come here and automatically colonise the planet.
Situation log updated.
Okay, so that turned out to be a derelict cruiser, so we can research it. Again with shift control to put it at the front of the crew. Queue even, not crew.
Technology secured.
Now there was the voice prompt for more technology being done, but as you can see there wasn't a pop-up this time. So just for your first research you'll get a pop-up. After that you have to keep an eye out for the audio cues and these little icons at the top. Okay, so if you click one it will then bring up this. So as you can see that's the quantum theory for physics. I think we'll go for this, administrative AI, plus 5% research speed. And this one here was the +2 unity and unlocking additional edicts. Okay. So here's that society option that we were missing first, so we'll pick that.
Special project complete.
So you see that cruiser an interesting find. That gives us +1 artifacts, +1 Erasian artifacts, and an additional 504 engineering research.
Complete.
Okay, so here's our colony ship. Okay, so that'll head down here and colonise this. Now as you can see here, we've discovered a new archaeological site. These will pop up randomly through your exploration. They take a science ship to investigate, but they can only be investigated when they're inside your territory.
Technology secured.
New tech. There's the minerals and the army damage. So I think we'll go for minerals again. Tradition. Influence cost -10%. It's very good.
Star system charted. Colonization in progress.
There we go. Colonising our first planet. As you can see, you don't get access to it straight away. It has this progress bar here that it has to go through first before it's fully colonised, and you can start building things on it. Okay, so we've got a second planet here, size 15 continental. which we'll want to colonise as well.
Anomaly found. Construction complete.
Okay. So again, as with anything, because we've got the minerals to do it, we want to build both the mineral and the science station. Have your construction ship selected, right click, hold shift, mining, right click, research, and that will queue up all the available stations to build. This continental world here is now in our territory. We'll now colonise it. And we'll just call it Sirius, I think, because that's a good name. Okay.
Star system charted.
Okay, so the expansion's starting to pick up now. And what I'll actually do is, I think after this colony ship, I'll actually build another science ship.
Construction complete.
Build all the available stations. Then you can come here and survey here.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
Yeah. So this new science ship, have we got an archaeology? We haven't. But we've got another experience gain. So he can come down here now, and because it's in our territory, he can start excavating this archaeological dig site. And we'll see what we find. Now, Earth again has an unemployed person, but we've got no more special buildings we can buy, so it's probably time to build one of these. Now we're running low on consumer goods, so it's not a good idea to build an industrial district like this. I think we'll go for mining station output. Full economy. Okay, and with that there, I will leave it for today. So, we learned the fleet manager, the ship designer, we've learned about traditions, and we've learned how to efficiently expand your empire, research systems, survey systems I mean, build the necessary stations, and give your science ships and construction ships queues. We've learnt how to colonise worlds, and we've also learnt the planetary interface as far as understanding blockers, districts, and the special buildings you can build. Okay, so we've done quite a lot today. save it again to make sure. That is where we shall leave it. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, or subscribe. Anything helps the channel grow, helps the community, and I shall see you next time. Take care.